Okay, in this video we're going to go through the installation process. The first software that we're going to install, and that's the Basler Camera Driver. Then we're going to install the Eagle Eye Pro 3000 software and then the Sentinel driver. I also have downloaded the license key. You all have or will have a USB key. This one's black. Yours may be purple, but you all have one or will have one, and it's got a number on it. You want to make sure you match up the number on the key with the location and the file inside of the folder on the server. I'll just go to that just so you know what I'm talking about. In that install document, you're going to have an address. It'll open up this folder, and you're just going to scroll to the license number that belongs to you, and you would download, right click, and then choose to download, and then place it on the computer somewhere where you can find it. And I have mine, for example, in this folder that I created. So everything's all set. We've got the 3 pieces of software. We've got the license key. I've got my instructions handy. They're either printed or they're on my computer. I can follow step by step along. The only other thing I would do and suggest that you do is if you are overwriting from a previous version, you uninstall or go to the search and add or remove programs, uninstall your Eagle Eye, right click, well, just click on it, I guess, and choose uninstall both your Eagle Eye Pro software and your Basler Camera driver before you install the new software. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just showing you where it is. You can type in uninstall or add or remove, and you can find the add or remove programs, and then choose to uninstall. Restart your computer so you start with a fresh, clean slate, and that way you don't get things mixed up with the old and the new. Okay, so let's go through this. I've got the Basler Camera Driver. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to choose Next, and the camera user is defaulted. I'm going to choose Next again. Gig E, because we're talking about a Gig E camera setup, we're going to choose Next, and that is also defaulted. And then I'm going to choose the install. Okay. And we'll go ahead and close out that once we've completed all the steps. So we've got the Basler Camera driver, and that's, again, very important. You have to install that first. If you don't, you won't connect to your camera, and you'll try and try and try, and you won't know why. It's because the software needs to have a camera driver to know what it's trying to connect to. So the driver goes first, and then the Eagle Eye Pro software. So let's do that next. Left click. It'll take a few moments to load, unpack the data. Okay, and we're simply going to move through this. We click Next, and then we're going to agree to the terms, and then leave all checked as is. No need to check the motion detection. That's an experimental feature that's not going to work right now. So just go ahead and click Next, and then the default location is fine. Click Install, and away it goes. It's complete. Click Next, and then we'll get to the Sentinel driver. So just click Next. Okay, and finish. Okay, I could have chosen not to in that last screen to open up Eagle Eye, but I left it checked, which means it's going to open upon installation. It says no valid license found, and that's normal. We can progress by clicking OK into the software, and it opens up. I'm now going to install the license key. I'm going to go to Help, License Information, Browse for authorization codes, and here I've been to this folder before, so it's defaulted. You may need to search for your folder if it's on the desktop or wherever it might be, and find the .npx file. Again, this has the same title, E8345, that's been assigned to me, that is on the USB key that I put in my computer. Okay, double click that, and it's going to tell me that all has been imported and successfully added to the registry. I click. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to close the software. I'm just going to show you that I can open the software and no Eagle Eye Pro valid license found. Okay. Let's try it again. Aha! It didn't work because I have the key not plugged into the computer. So I need to do that. I'm going to remove something that's in my computer. So I have a free USB port. I want to plug into a working port. I hear that it's been detected. I'm going to close out just to be sure everything's working. Start from the opening process. Left click. Okay. And I get the grabber initialization failed, and that's fine because I don't have a camera connected. It's basically saying there's no camera connected. And I click OK, and it progresses because I do have a license key inserted in the computer, and it recognizes the software upon opening as a full functional version. And I can see here that the virtual grabber is dancing around, and that's just a demo camera. Even though there's not a picture, you can practice recording and working within the software within that, what we call a virtual camera or virtual grabber. Okay, there's a few more things we want to do to make sure that our computer is set correctly. So I'm going to just leave the install document here up on the screen, and I'll walk through a few things. We want to reset a couple key pieces, and we want to go to power options inside the computer so that we don't, for whatever reason, shut off the computer. It goes to sleep during a race, and if you don't check it, you could run into trouble. So we want to go to the control panel, power settings. I'll just type in power settings here, and I get power and sleep settings. That works. And I'm going to see that I have my options selected to never. I don't want it to turn off ever, and I don't want it to go to sleep ever. And so I've just double checked that. Okay, so that's good. And I also want to go to my firewall settings. I'm going to type in Windows Firewall, Windows Defender Firewall in this case. And I'm going to turn off my firewall. And I won't go through all the little pieces that requires to do so. We certainly want your computer protected when it's not timing, but you should become familiar with where in your computer settings you should turn off or can turn off for a track meet your firewall. Your firewall software, depending on what kind you have, may scan your computer intermittently in the background, and in some cases it could interfere with the record process. You don't want that to happen during a track meet, during a race. It's difficult, if impossible, for us to determine what type of setup you have on your computer, so it's just safe to turn that off during a track meet. Okay. In this case, we went to Windows Defender Firewall, and we would, if this was right before track meet, turn it off and move forward. Okay, now we want to look at the Ethernet settings. If you have a built-in Ethernet port that looks like a large telephone jack, which is the jack that your camera data cable will plug into, we want to make sure that the settings are correct so that it allows the jumbo frames, the large data files, to pass through your computer in real time. If you are using a USB adapter device that we do have and provide, that also needs to have its properties set. For example, if you don't have an Ethernet port in your computer, but you have a USB 3 port, you can use that device and plug in your data cable into that device. It also gives you 3 extra USB ports. So that's the pass-through that you'll use instead of a built-in Ethernet port. Regardless, checking to make sure that those settings are correct is basically the same thing. So we're going to go to the device manager. We'll type in down below, device manager. I see it auto populate here. I click it on. Okay. And I have network adapters set right there, opened. You want to click the little icon to the left of it so that it opens up. Oops, and there it is, network adapters. And I'm going to look for my Ethernet adapter. It might be listed as a ATM, an Intel, or Realtek, whatever it might be. I'm not sure in your computer what it's called, and it might take a couple searches to make sure you've got the right piece. So I'm going to choose. So let's go to Realtek USB family controller. Let's do that one. Right click prop. There it is. The advanced tab is here. And I find in the list jumbo frames. And I'm going to make sure that the value is set to the highest, which in this case is 9,014 bytes. That's 9K jumbo frames. I'll click OK. And now I can get out of the NIC and I can be assured that the data passing from the camera into my computer has a very wide open bandwidth or pipe, if you will, that I can do so in real time. If you don't select 9K jumbo frames, you're going to have buffering issues and or you're just not going to get an image. So that's very, very important. So in this install document, we've installed the 3 pieces of software. We found and installed our license key. We made some changes to the power settings in the firewall. And we've made sure that our Ethernet port is set to 9K jumbo frames, and we're all good to go. So hopefully this video has helped you walk through the process. But again, refer to your document if you have any troubleshooting questions, because it's all spelled out there step by step. And between this video and that document, you shouldn't have any problems. All right. Thank you and good luck.